Good morning and welcome to another edition of Salon Talks, maybe the most fun ever. I'm Allie Joseph and today I'm joined by RuPaul, fashion, style, drag icon. And Ru has been lighting up the small and the big screen for many, many years with his show Drag Race and many, many other shows. The newest one premieres March 24th at 8 o'clock p.m., now on VH1, formerly on Logo and airing also on Logo at other times. And he dropped a new album on February 3rd called Remember Me Essential Volume 1. Welcome, Ru.
Thank you.
Thanks for fitting us in here. I know you're so busy.
Well, anything for you, darling.
Oh, thank you so much. And I love this. We're going nautical today. I wasn't sure what to expect, but this is very muted.
You know, I'm from San Diego, and I've always had a love of nautical stuff. San Diego is a really big Navy town. It's a big armed forces town, but Navy is the one that really... Are you from a Navy town?
No, I just love
Love a nautical. I just love a nautical. Always have.
Oh, we could have been matchy. All right. Well, I was so excited to meet you today. This is completely genuine. I rewatched Supermodel. I had to dig around. It was like old grainy YouTube clips. And I remembered when that came out and how the entertainment business responded to it. And then I was really touched by your backstory. Can you tell me a little bit about how you went from being a small boy evolving into RuPaul?
Well, I'll tell you, it's very simple. You know, I've always felt like the boy who fell to earth. And I remember being 14 years old thinking, you know, making a pact with myself. I would never join into the Matrix. I would never join into the status quo, and I would always fight it. It always felt like I was on an operating table and the anesthesia never worked. So I spent many years trying to anesthetize myself, if you know what I mean. Still, that didn't work either. Mm-hmm. So I have always worked and did my art on the fringe, where I feel very comfortable. So you know, getting into punk rock bands and getting into drag, not because I want to be a woman, but because it is the ultimate act of treason in a male-dominated culture, is to play with feminine things. Not only that, but it's also an act of treason to the ego, because the ego is all about identity. So when drag queens play and shapeshift and going, okay, now I'm a nautical sailor. Oh, now I'm a glamorous showgirl. Oh, now I'm a gender F-word drag queen with smeared lipstick and combat boots and a ratty wig going, yeah! Those are all, they're all against what the ego wants you to do, which is to pick one identity and stick with it forever and vote that way and walk that way and behave that way in every facet of your life until you die. I never wanted to do that.
So I think that's a good segue. You mentioned the word vote that way into the current administration. And here at Salon, we are political and we also work in the culture sphere. What are your thoughts on the current administration's recent challenges to both trans bathroom laws and also LGBT rights? Do you have any sensibility about what is happening and what we can do, or what would you say?
You know, when I think of what's happened in the past few years, it has very little to do with policies and more to do with a bigger dialogue that we don't discuss, which is the duality and the double narrative that each human walks around with at all times. There are two of you. The one that says, well, I want equality and I want people to be forward thinking, and that same voice also has an ad on Craigslist that says, no femmes, no fats, and no Asians. That sort of dichotomy that lives in each of us. So when you think about this election really is, what's happening politically is about the old guard being phased out, they're obsolete. If you worked in a factory and you haven't learned how to do something else, you're obsolete, and that's just nature. Nature is phasing those people out. And they, as a last-ditch effort, elected this buffoon to try to turn back the hands of time, which unfortunately just doesn't work.
We're not Cher.
We're not Cher. We are not. We can't do that. Cher can do it. We cannot. And definitely he cannot. So that's what this election is really about, and that's what's happening politically. But you know what's funny about this is that what they're doing to sort of turn back time, is actually accelerating our cause. What's happening in the White House right now in Washington, it's imploding on itself. Every single day it gets uglier and deeper, and they're trying to scramble to climb out of this mess. It won't work. What you defend against actually persists. So they're actually aiding our cause, which is to move forward in time.
And it is a really challenging time, I think, for all people who are different or who don't fit into, as you said initially, like a shell and a sense of identity that's traditional.
Mm-hmm.
Your show, Drag Race, has really opened up, I think, opportunities for men who are different and who have been looking to find themselves and found a home, I think, in the community, in the drag community. Take us through Drag Race and sort of its evolution to now season 9, which is premiering March 24th. How has the show changed?
Well, what's the biggest change is that the kids who apply to our show now grew up watching the show. So they speak the language so well. In fact, they come in thinking, I got this, but what they really don't realize is that the show is produced by a bunch of gay men from the East Village from many years ago who know every stunt and every scam you can imagine. So they will never really get it, and they're always in for quite a surprise because the show is based on, it's a competition reality show if people haven't seen it, and we put the kids through these challenges. A lot of the challenges that I've faced in my career to stay I can't say that word, relevant for many years, and exactly what I was saying before with the workforce. If you work in a factory all these years, that job is gone. It's never. So in my career, it's not just about dressing up in drag. I've worn lots of different hats, and I will continue to wear lots of different hats. As a producer, as a director, as a writer and songwriter, performer, all of those things, and a marketing genius, which, So that's what the show is about, and the kids have to come up to that level. So it's always a challenge. It's a challenge.
But I think that the important thing, too, to talk about is the central core identity of the show and what it encourages in these young men, which is to love oneself, right?
Absolutely.
And you say at the end of every show, if you can't love yourself, how the hell are you going to love somebody else? Can I get an amen?
That's right.
And so that ethos really does flow through the show, and I think that's a really lovely thing about it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All roads lead there. And every seeker in the world will tell you, all roads lead to know thyself. We're always looking for outside elements to fill that God-sized hole that each of us feels. That's why each of us, you see people walking down the street connected to this device, trying to give them some substance, something to believe in, something to be connected to. We're also, the fact that people are doing it while driving a car is outrageous. We're all, and they're basically trying to fill that void that they feel, not wanting to be with themselves for a second. Even the stillness of meditation, or the stillness of being with yourself. That is where all roads lead, and that is what love yourself means. If you can't love yourself, how the hell are you going to love somebody else? You can't find the thing that you want to fill that void with outside of yourself. It comes from within.
Absolutely. And if you're just joining us, it's obvious who my best guest of the day, maybe not, absolutely my best guest of the day, is RuPaul of Drag Race, which has season 9 premiering March 24th on VH1. And we're just talking about the show and the implications for LGBT politics in the current administration, among other things. And I must ask you, how long does it take to go from the Ru that's sitting here to the Ru that we see when you are made up and your hair's did and all that? It is really amazing.
Well, it could take an hour and a half, honestly, if I wanted to, but if I have the time, I'll take as long as I can, because it's more than just the stuff you put on. It's getting yourself prepared for being Superman. It's like Superman to Clark Kent. And that's not just true of drag queens. The whole point of drag is that we're not separate from one another. Each of us are in drag. You're born naked, The rest is drag. Ain't no two ways about it. And it's not just little boys who want to play in girls' things. It's about the identity that each of us assigns to ourselves. And that's why it's political, and that's why it's really important. That's why it ruffles so many feathers, because us shapeshifters or drag queens are telling you, you're not who you think you are. You are the extension of God, for lack of a better word. I'm not religious. You are an extension of the power that created the whole universe.
So on any given day, drag gives people the opportunity to be inspired and to become someone else, and to flow with a community that accepts them.
Well, that's a heavier thing. I just think I like playing with all the colors.
It's just fun.
I like playing with all the colors in the crayon box.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. When you see children, and children see a drag queen, and they see all the sparkly and the clanging, the colors and the textures and the silhouette and the sound of the earrings going clank, clank, clank. A child is mesmerized, and that child, it still lives in you. It still lives in each of us, and that's the attraction. Before we decide to take on these characters, our identities, that's what we're attracted to as humans on this planet. You know, colors and laughter, and drag says, don't take life too GD seriously, and that's the biggest message of it all. We're here to, and listen, shaman and court jesters and you know, the witch doctors have always reminded the culture to not take life too seriously, and to remember that you are much bigger than you think you are. Like in that movie, is it called Incentive, or what's the movie with where they go into dreams? Inception. Inception. They carry with them a little that they call a totem, which is it could be those glasses, and you carry it with you and hold it in your hand. And when you're in the dream, you look at it and you go, "Why did I have? Oh, I remember. I'm dreaming. I'm dreaming right now." You keep it with you to remind yourself that you are in a dream right now. And drag is a physical embodiment of a totem to say, "Remember, this is all a dream. This is all an illusion. Don't take it too seriously. Don't do anything too harsh to hurt yourself. It's to be experienced. It's not to go and kill other people because they don't believe what you believe, or try to hurt someone. You know, these crazy things that people do in the name of what's right. It's like, just chill. It's all good. Let's go eat chicken. Let's dance."
Can we go eat chicken and
Let's
dance
eat
right now?
Yes.
Bye, guys.
Yeah.
Let's get what kind of wings?
Oh, I love me some wings, girl. I love me some wings with some hot sauce and some blue cheese dressing.
I know it's going to be a good morning. So a little bit more of a serious topic, though I love that, and we should go get some wings. More and more Americans are coming out as trans or bi. Do you think that there's a shift towards gender becoming, less binary?
I believe there is. I think as we as people, as a race of people, expand and tear down these damn walls, we will find different shades and different angles and things that initially our brain can't put into a box. I remember when 20 years ago, I had experienced a group of transsexuals who I became friends with, who several of them were lesbians. These were men who transitioned into being women who were sexually attracted to other women. 20 years ago, I couldn't wrap my brain around it. I tried, and then eventually I got it, is that getting it means not trying to fit it into any type of understanding that I had from before. It just is what it is. Are you a loving person? Yes. Well, then you're in with me, kiddo. Right on. You do what you do, you. And as long as you're not hurting anybody else, I'm cool with it.
A strong philosophy and an excellent one, really, truly. We're joined today by RuPaul. I'm Allie Joseph, and Ru is here generously to talk with us about the 9th season of Drag Race, his show that is going to premiere March 24th on VH1. 9 seasons. 9
seasons, 11 cycles, but 9 seasons.
Amazing. Really a long time. Now, you joke a lot in interviews and on your show, but you've come so far since your Atlanta club dancing and your band, was it Wee Wee Pole?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I need to ask what Wee Wee Pole. Maybe I shouldn't ask. And shooting hoops in the West 4th Street courts, which only a born and raised New Yorker can recognize, in the supermodel video. What words of advice do you have for young people coming up who are facing intolerance and searching for who they are and may find a home and see you as an inspiration?
It's important to find your tribe. That is the most important thing you do. You find people who understand what you are saying, you know, like that Twilight Zone episode where the girl from another planet has the face that is different from the people on her, and they do the switch, and when the girls are switching, they cross each other, and one is this beautiful, you know, Marilyn Monroe type face, and the other, I think she may have a pig snout, I think. You know, it's a Twilight Zone. Anyway, that you find your tribe, and you know, God love my mother and my sisters and my family. God love them. And we laughed. We had a lot of great laughs together. But it wasn't until I moved to Atlanta and I found my tribe. By the way, a tribe of people that I still work with today. The kids I met when I found my tribe are the producers of Drag Race, and I met them 32 years ago. 32, here in New York actually, 32 years ago. So that's the most important thing, find your tribe. And the people who will support you. Because, you know, you've got a self-saboteur. We haven't even gotten into that. The self-saboteur, the ego, is your biggest foe. And you need people who are going to lift you up and support you, especially when your saboteur, the calls are coming from inside the house. When that rears its ugly head, you need people to say, wake up, you're dreaming, wake up. You know, that's why that totem is there. Those people, your tribe, become that totem, that reminder that you're in a dream and to not take it too seriously.
And to really be comfortable with who you are,
Absolutely.
even if it's different.
Yeah, yeah.
So perhaps last, but not least important, at least and fun for me, is there anything you can share from the drag queen toolkit? It could be a literal thing, like the toupee tape that we discussed before we were on camera. Like a top 5 tips, or like a bend and snap.
Sure, yeah. No.
That will endear me to everyone that I meet.
Well, no, we were talking about earlier when we were on the air about you know, wardrobe malfunctions. And
I had one.
It's always important to have toupee tape with you, or double stick tape is fine, but toupee tape is much stronger, and it will hold a multitude. It will cover a multitude of sins. So toupee tape is great, and you can get that at a wig shop, or you can get it online. What am I thinking? Amazon. You can always get everything on Amazon, no matter where you are.
Plug.
Yeah. But you know, my number one tip for all people, not just drag queens, is false eyelashes, which make every look go from daytime to glamazon. What you do, but it's hard for people to put a strip on their eye. It's just difficult for newbies. What you do is you cut that eyelash strip into 3 pieces or 4 pieces, and you dip the tip into, first of all, you mascara and curl your lash. You got to have a eyelash curler. You dip with your tweezers the piece of the eyelash into, and then you place them, each piece, on top of your own lash. That way you don't have to fool with getting the strip together. And you know, it comes out with the strips are looking crazy. Yeah, like, oh. You place them on top of your lash, and it is fabulous. It is fabulous. Everyone should learn how to wear false eyelashes. They're the best thing. Especially if you're going to a wedding and you want to look super glamorous, wear false eyelashes. That'll change your look from your everyday look to something like a movie star.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Maybe you can't do it in the back of a cab like me with no mirror. Those are old model tips I learned, and somehow didn't come out looking like the crazy clown. I still do it. People are like, I ask him, he knows. I come in, I'm like, okay, did I forget to rub the concealer in? Do I have the clown cheek? No mirror, right? It takes years on the way to castings. You learn.
Yeah.
We've been joined today by RuPaul. We're having a laugh about chicken wings and what was it? It wasn't beer. What did you want? And we're dancing and chicken wings and laughing.
Those are the key. That's
it is, and also about loving oneself and the central messaging behind Drag Race, his show, which will premiere March 24th on VH1 in its 9th season. Thank you so much for coming to talk to me. I know you're super busy. Anything else you want to add that's important to you right now?
Well, I think we've covered it all. Just you have to remember to love yourself and, start today. You could start by learning how to meditate. Meditating is your connection to the source. And it could be 30 seconds of just being still. That show Westworld, which I loved, the robots would come into the lab and get rebuilt after they've been out there, or they come in for analysis. So the lab tech would say to the robot, analysis, and the robot would immediately break down all pretense and go, and be able to
start sliding off the chair.
Exactly.
Out of frame.
Did you watch that show?
I have not watched that show.
It is really, it says everything you need to know about what's happening in the world right now. But that has been the word I use to start my meditation, is analysis, and I immediately go, and I'm able to look at myself objectively. I'm able to look out from the outside and look at myself and go, what's going on? What are you doing? What's happening with you? And I'm able, that stillness, that quiet is the source. And that's the key to the first step in learning to love yourself. Hey guys, this is RuPaul, and you are watching me right now on Salon.com. I love it here. You can find me on Twitter at RuPaul and at RuPaul Official on Facebook. I can't wait to hear from you. Love you, and I love Salon.com.